All right, so we're doing This is the outdoor podcast series here. We're just recording with a phone here, and I think the audio is pretty good actually. Sometimes I have this thing where if I'm not using some professional microphone,
Hmm.
I'm like the sound is not good. But aren't these phones to design?
I think they're really good. I actually sometimes like when it's just recorded on the iPhone because I feel like it just comes off extremely authentic because everyone has a phone in their hand
Yeah,
and they record themselves and they know how it sounds. I think it resonates even better sometimes when it's just iPhone quality mic. You feel like you're talking
right.
directly. It's like a FaceTime call.
Well, it's interesting that you should say that. I saw a video the other day on Instagram, and this lady was saying this is the new way to do social media and basically Instagram. She says you have to raw dog your Instagram
Yep.
account. She's like, no editing, click the plus button, record a video, publish it, talk to Instagram like you're talking on a FaceTime call.
That's yeah, that is the most authentic way to do it. And I've seen people start building their brands like that, and I'm kind of stuck because some of my favorite people growing up watching, like I like to watch Bob Proctor and the man in the suit,
Yeah.
quality microphone, stand on stage, just proper. But
Yeah.
this is actually a better way to resonate with your people. They just like to talk to a family member on FaceTime. They want to see
Right.
your mess ups and everything.
Right. Today I was watching a video on Instagram and the guy was like, I'm just going to wake everyone up, and he's all high energy and stuff. And it was really interesting because he's posting his video on a Saturday morning
Yeah,
with the assumption that people are going to see it on a Saturday morning. And guess what? I watched it on a Saturday morning.
right.
So the idea of I'm going to wake people up with this high energy, that because he went in with that intention of authenticity and directness, he achieved it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. Is that where we're at?
I think so. That's what I like about your brand. I really like your brand because I feel like I'm watching Ruben's day to day. You're not you sell in the best way possible. You sell by just communicating and talking and sharing what you have to offer with the world. You're not like you need to buy this. And I feel like I'm watching Ruben's day to day live his life. I'm watching you raise Donnie. I'm watching you interview people on the street about sales and marketing and how they can become better and effective leaders and communicators. I feel like I'm watching you and getting to know who you are. So without even meeting you in person, I feel like I know you. Not a projected image, not something super scripted and perfect. I feel like I'm getting to know this guy. And because I resonate with a lot of your philosophy and how you think and your character and level of integrity, I feel like this is a guy that I would want to hang out with and who's doing something positive for others with his company, Dubb, by the way. He has an amazing company. I would say you're like an all in one. How I perceive what you offer is like you guys are like an all in one funnel builder.
I really like how you put that. We never describe it as that, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
We don't describe it like that because our core audience is people in sales,
Mm-hmm.
people who have high ticket items, people in real estate, mortgage, and small business owners, and software
Consultants too.
sales, consultants, coaches. It's a huge, like agencies. These are really big parts of our business because they all sell a large ticket item. It's a relationship. These items, these contracts are not getting signed unless there's a personal touch to it.
Right.
So by adding video communication, it adds to it. So we always say we just allow people to record video, and every time you record a video, you get a video page.
Right.
Like that's the easiest way that we can come up with it. But it's a funnel.
Right.
It's a funnel.
It's a funnel builder. And it is really cool. You showed me that feature. Essentially, you can take a picture of your or video of your face, and your software will create you an entire landing page
Yeah.
with a video sales letter
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And then you're able to send that directly to your prospects.
Yeah. Right.
Amazing. So
Right.
pretty much where we resonate and connect is I'm a coach and consultant, and I help other coaches with marketing, lead generation. And then you're the part that you're providing the system
Yeah.
that we need to host our clients and sell our products.
Yeah. I think that for anyone that's trying to build personal relationships with people, if you're not using video, you're missing out on the biggest thing ever. Instagram's a great place. Oh, there's a hose coming at us. Instagram and YouTube, those are great places to live. Those are very top of funnel. I'm building my brand. I'm building my audience. But if you want to eventually get to the point where people know, like, and trust you, they feel a connection to you, sending video message sending video messages, from my perspective, that's the only way to really have someone resonate with you. Unless you can actually get in the car and go meet with people.
No, I think that's really cool, and yeah, because
Wait,
like
what are you doing? What are you doing?
his
You
daughter's
spraying?
spraying us with water bottles. if you
Damn you.
if you run ads, especially in my niche or field, we run ads to generate messages to the DM of people looking to work with us, right?
Yeah,
And then our goal is to essentially get them on a sales call.
right.
So I think it's really cool and creative the angle you guys are coming in. I think first of all, props to you because it can't be that easy to build a SaaS program, a SaaS offering. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because they say it's easier than ever now because you can vibe code an entire app or software company,
Hmm.
and that's just like fodder for social media when they say that you can vibe code an app or you
Hmm.
can vibe code a software company
Hmm.
because it takes years to be able to iterate something and build it as a proper platform that exists on its own with the right target audience and a funnel that has a whole system to go and actually build a business.
Hmm.
But is it easy? Is it hard? Gosh, I mean, it's a choice that you have to make.
Hmm.
Start having startup capital, I think, makes it a lot easier
Hmm.
because there are going to be development costs.
Hmm.
But nowadays, with the right partner, with the right vision, with a little bit of capital, it's possible. You can do it. But would I say it's easy? No, it's
Hmm.
pretty tough.
Yeah. Sounds easy in theory, but
Yeah,
to walk it out is probably a journey. I'm
right.
sure.
Yeah.
What gave you the idea to start Dubb? Where did the inspiration come from?
Okay, so I used to work at a large Inc. 5000 agency, and I would work alongside with the salespeople. And every single day, I would hear heartbreaks of people who got ghosted, they didn't get responses back. Okay, let's do a quick pause here because we have a 7-year-old with a hose. And I would see these guys that would just get ghosted.
Hmm.
And it's like watching a grown ass person get ghosted in sales. It feels like you just got like dumped in the worst possible way. And
Right.
and and in sales, for anyone that's been in sales, that happens on a daily basis.
Right.
And I started to realize that it wasn't the people that was the reason of the block was not because of the person.
Hmm.
It was because of the form of communication that was occurring.
Hmm.
And what I realized is that it's so easy to ignore someone's email. It's so easy to ignore a text message. It's
Right.
so easy to not pick up a phone to send someone to voicemail. It's so easy to do that because there's no connection.
Right.
You don't even feel the humanity in them.
Right.
But the second that someone presents themselves and takes a risk and is vulnerable to say, hey, my name is Ruben. I just wanted to share a story with you. I wanted to share an idea with you. The second that that human vulnerability occurs, it's very difficult for people to block you, to ignore you.
Right.
So I started to realize that if people would send a video in their sales email or in their sales SMS or in their sales LinkedIn message, they would get a massively more positive response
That's true.
because it's like a human being now, you
Right.
know? It's kind of like all of our parents or at least some elderly figure in our life at some point says you must respect people when they say hello to you. Look at them in their eyes. If someone meets you or greets you at a coffee shop, at a restaurant, or out in the wild, if someone says hello and they greet themselves and introduce themselves, look at them in their eyes and just give them the same respect back. The same thing happens with sales.
Hmm.
The same thing happens with video because we're taking a chance. We're
Yeah.
making ourselves vulnerable, and I don't think there's anything more effective
Hmm.
to build a relationship with people.
No, I agree. Especially in this era with AI and everything being
Yeah.
auto-generated, I think human connection and a soul-to-soul
Yeah.
contact is what's going to sell in the future.
Yeah.
I think the way that we're doing sales is going to shift globally,
Right.
and I think people want just real things. There's a lot going on out there. There's artificial relationships. There's all
Right.
kinds of stuff. So the stock is going to go up on human-to-human connection.
Right.
And I realized that, let's say I'm getting DMs from a lot of people trying to work with me, whether it's a content editor trying to work for me or someone trying to do sales for my company or an appointment setter that's reaching out to
Yeah.
work in the organization. I get a lot of, pitches I can tell they're like AI generated or
Yeah.
something like that.
Easy
So-
to ignore.
So the people who send a voice message are like, hey man, I really like what you're doing. I like this post where you talked about finding purpose in your life and you mentioned this
Right.
thing about ikigai and I really resonate with that from the Eastern philosophy. They're like, hey man, you mind if we hop on the call? I really do think I have something to contribute. And I send a voice message back. Now I'm talking to a human soul.
Right.
And I can tell. So I think video, I think audio, I think anything that really promotes human to human connection is going to be what thrives in the future, especially as, like I always mention that before, we all had these devices and everyone had the opportunity to promote themselves or to make a brand. We were only sold, we had to be sold by whatever was on TV, right? So
Yeah.
they got to like market their brands to us, and we just had to shut up and accept it. So now everyone has the opportunity to offer whatever they're offering: music, marketing, um, sales, whatever business or company or art that they're providing the
Yeah.
world. They can build their own brand, so everyone knows who's being real and fake now.
Yeah.
So to pick up the phone and just be like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm offering, these are my actual beliefs that my soul carries. That's kind of what you have to be now in order to resonate with your target audience. And in order to resonate with your target audience and drawing customers that you would actually like to work with,
Yeah.
you know, because it's, you know, that's what differentiates you from having a business that you can't stand and a business you love. You're actually working with people who resonate with your similar beliefs and way you perceive the world.
Well, okay, so I guess my question now becomes, if we all want to have a soul connection, especially with someone that we're doing these big ticket transactions with, like spending anything more than $1,000, it's always nice to have another person that you're dealing with,
Right.
that whom you can trust, and if
Right.
there's a problem, you know you can go back to them. But at some point, when are we? Is there going to be a point where we actually don't? We would rather save the money, and we will bypass the human connection. Like at one point, when does that start to happen? Because they've said it so many times in real estate that, oh, we're not going to need real estate agents. People are just going to do it online. It's not happening.
Right.
Like people still need a real estate agent. It's the more people kept saying, oh, with AI we're not going to need coaches.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to need consultants. I every coach and consultant that I know, if they really lock into their target audience, they're actually doing well
They're
right now.
crushing it.
You
Since
know?
the beginning of humanity, there's always been someone to consult you. Maybe we didn't call them consultants in different regions of the world. Maybe they were your therapist, your
Yeah,
mentor.
right.
That's not going away, and a robot can't give you that heart to heart soul
Right.
connection. That's not leaving anywhere. And I think that AI is going to make it even easier
Hmm.
for those people as well. Like for me, for example, like when I post my content, um, um, I always have the captions, you know, on the videos. AI does that for me,
Yeah.
right? It's making it easier for me, but I'm still using my soul, my
Yeah.
thoughts, my ideas that I journal and script and meditate and receive my information from the source to share. But AI is making it easier for me to
Yeah.
reach the people that I want to reach with my message.
Well, okay, so AI is making it easier for us to have human connections. Does that continue? Does that start to curve? Does that start to tip at some point?
Hmm.
Or does it, with more improvement to AI, we have more connection to human beings? Like one of the things that I always struggle with is how how is AI, what is AI going to look like in 5 years? What is AI going
Yeah.
to look like in 10 years, in 15 years? Should I even be thinking about that, or
Right.
should I be more rooted in the moment? Because as a
True.
technologist, I feel like I have to think about this,
Yeah.
but it is a daunting task to
Yeah.
think, what is AI going to do to us in 15, 20, 25 years,
Yeah.
especially when there's like kids involved.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I do think that everything in the world is based off of the human being, right? Cameras, they resemble our eyes. Just everything that's created is based around how the human being
Yeah.
functions. So I think that it's gonna. It depends on the human being. I think there's gonna be a split in human beings. There's gonna be people who fully go into the AI world, AI dating, AI thinking. They use
Mm.
ChatGPT to do all their thinking. They never even want to think about anything. Just ask it a question without sitting out in nature and asking themselves.
Mm.
I think they're going to go fully into that world and rely on AI. And I have to be careful of this too because I grew up with with a bit of AI. Like for example, sometimes I have trouble remembering like street names and stuff because I'm so used to just following the blue line on the maps, right? And the generations before me, they had to get MapQuest and get the map and actually critically think about, oh, we should go here. So you gotta be careful not to let AI train you to not think for yourself.
Right.
And I think there's going to be a group of people who lean more toward human connection and nature and use AI to bring them closer to nature. Maybe they go live in a simpler country to where they can be eating fresh fruits and vegetables and having AI help them make money to live a simpler life.
Right.
So I think it depends on the type of human being that you are, and pray for the kids because you don't have them iPad babies that just
Right.
brain dead before they can even learn how to think.
Well, there's also a paradox where the more that we get into AI, the more that we rely on computers, there's more of a need for human connection. There's
Yeah.
more of a need for expression. There's more of a need for music and spoken word and poetry and art and the human experience and museums. And we went to a nature garden, the Huntington Gardens over in Pasadena, and it's like what an unbelievable experience to be so rooted in the present moment,
Yeah.
where you can hear nature around you, the leaves, and you watch the clouds move, and you can see the bees interacting with the flowers, and it's an unbelievable experience, and that is the only cure for the incessant push of AI upon us. For
Right.
me personally,
Right.
it's nature, it's music, it's
Yeah.
art, it's quality time with the family.
Right.
You know,
No, 100%. 100%. But I do think that I forgot, there's a universal law. I forget which law it is, but it pretty much states that there's nothing good or bad. It's how you're looking at it. Is it the law of relativity? Like nothing's big or small. It depends. Like a house is not big or small. It just depends on if you're comparing it to a house that you consider bigger or
oh, I
smaller.
see, yeah,
Oh, I think it's like in that same line that there's in every situation there's something good and bad. So there's that you can find anything negative or positive in any situation. So depending on how you look at things, if you see how you can utilize things to make your life better, AI will be your best friend. If you look at how it's going to take your job and it's going to make life worse for you, and that will be so. So it depends on how you look at it and how you choose to utilize it. But I think that's with everything, right? Because the internet could be your worst friend if you're letting TikTok control your thinking and your
yeah.
brain, or it could be something that you can be adding value to the world and teaching and educating and uplifting other people in a different country that you may never have met if there was no internet.
Okay, so what you're talking about? Okay, so quick break here. We have a 7-year-old request over here. I really appreciate this philosophy because perception can make you a victim or it can make you empowered.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
and
so.
you can turn the most challenging situation into an opportunity for growth and an inspirational catalyst in your mind, or you can create it as the ultimate imprisonment of the victim.
It's true.
And I think with AI, I think a lot of it is a choice. Are we going to have this work for us, or are we going to have this work against us? And this is personally a choice that we all have to make.
Right, 100%.
Yeah,
No, I agree with you. I agree
yeah,
with you a lot. But yeah, I love what you guys are offering at
yeah,
Dubb. I think it's really cool, and I think you guys are using AI to help humans make great offerings. So I think
yeah.
what you guys are doing is creating a positive effect on things, which I like and I respect a lot.
Well, thank you for saying that. One of the things that I really appreciate about some of your thinking that you've shared with me is this idea that we should all feel liberated from what we have been taught, from what we have been brainwashed,
Yeah.
from what we have been programmed to believe. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of the media that we consume ourselves with, social media, movies, music, the news, is part of this larger programming story.
Right.
And at some point, we have to be free.
We do. We do. I agree. I think we do. I think we talk about this a lot of the time. I think that it's important to really guard and protect your mind. I think your subjective or subconscious mind is so powerful, and I think it rules like a lot of your life. And there's a saying that says, "What entertains you trains you." So I would pay attention. If you pay attention to certain demographics of people, you can tell whose target audience they are because they all dress the same, they think the same, they may eat the same, have the same health challenges, or it's just really interesting how a cluster of people can think similarly based on what they're watching often,
Yeah.
right? And we've all seen this with, like, let's just say you grow up, you're super into rock and heavy metal. You know, all your friends are dressed in black, and they're kind of teasing their hair. They all look like what they're watching. Or
Yeah.
if you're if you watch educational content all the time, you're the nerd that's always like learning something and trying to create and add value and spend time in nature, and all those kind of people cluster together, and they can talk about the same things they're watching. What you're watching and putting in your mind is so powerful. It's so powerful. I used to think when I was a kid that marketing or like commercial, I didn't understand why television shows had commercials. I used to think no one's really buying anything based off a commercial. And as I grew up, I was like, oh shoot, like everything you ever bought, you've seen
Yeah.
a Nike commercial or, you know.
Right.
And I was like, wow, you got to really protect what you're putting in your mind.
Yeah. Well, they say that you're an average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. I would say that you're an average of the social media accounts
Yeah.
that you
Nowadays,
spend the most
it's true.
time watching,
It's true.
you know?
It's very true.
And it's like if you want to see the trajectory of your life, chances are all you have to do is look at the last 5 videos that you watched.
Drew, you want to go out there? No, like I completely agree with that. I heard someone teaching online. They were saying to look into your phone and go to your messages. If the last 5 people who messaged you are not going anywhere in life, they're offering you just to go drink all the time, or they're talking about celebrity drama, or just something that just is not progressing your life, right?
Yeah.
Then that's the direction you're going. I remember being younger, looking at my phone, and I was like, yeah, I need to make some changes. They were saying if your phone should consist of people pulling you toward health, wellness, fitness, better relationships. So now if I look at my phone, it's you. I have founders and CEOs. I have relationship coaches, therapists.
Yeah.
Everyone in my life is helping my life grow, and I'm grateful that I made those changes. Because I do know it's not just your environment plays a big role. The people you hang out with in person plays a big role, especially
Yeah.
the person you with, if you're remarried, plays a big role in how you're programmed. But also, like, what's now, because we're all glued to this, the people you're watching on here and that have the power to interact with and stimulate your mind shapes who you become.
It really does. And it's crazy because we all have the friend from high school or college that we don't really want to let go.
Yeah.
Because there's that emotional, nostalgic tie.
It's like they know me.
You know?
They know who I am. Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of our joy is how we felt in high school and how we can go and re-emulate that.
Yeah.
I want to start the band up again. I want to start playing flag football again. I want to, go and do the chess club, and I want, like, how many things from high school do we want to go back to because it brought us so much joy? Like for me, having a good sound system in the car, that was like
Everything.
so important
Yeah.
in high school. Okay. And now as like an adult, I think about that. Like my car is literally in the shop right now, getting a new sound system installed and fixed. It's those moments from high school that we want to get.
Programming.
Yeah.
What? You want to get them? Okay, so I know that entrepreneurs are extremely creative people, right? And you have to have a very high level of self-belief. I want to know, what are your spiritual, or some people call it religious, beliefs? So what do you believe? What keeps you going? What's giving you ideas and motivation? And how are you finding the self-belief in yourself? Where does this come from?
Okay, for me, I think it's rooted in this idea of the unified field of consciousness.
Oh, yes.
I truly believe that consciousness is oneness. I believe in this idea of non-duality. I believe that we are all connected. Even though we don't necessarily feel connected, we are connected. And for me, I as from a very, very early age, I had an absolute connection to this idea of how can we bring people together for more oneness.
Yeah.
And when I realized that video is how we can do that, and that's become our, my thesis was correct. I'll just pat myself in the back for a moment. But I remember thinking about this like 20 years ago, like even longer than that. I remember thinking that this is going to change everything because once we can all communicate with video, we all become connected,
Right.
for better or for worse.
Right.
And here we are now, where it's the greatest asset in our civilization, and it's also basically the biggest thing that is the killer of all productivity.
Yeah.
But it still has more power in goodness than in anything else. I truly believe that. And that's the spiritual component of it for me is how do people come together? How do we create more oneness and collective consciousness?
Right. So, if are you saying it sounds like we have a similar belief? Are you saying that it doesn't matter? You think we're one race, and you think that we're all interly connected. So whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Catholic, Christian, you believe that we all come from the same source or source of all life, and that we're all interconnected, and we're really all the same, experiencing different thoughts and beliefs.
I think that if you think about consciousness, it transcends humanity. It becomes the larger Tao. It becomes energy. It becomes frequency. It becomes consciousness. We come from stardust.
Yeah.
If you look at the composition of the human body or any carbon-based life form, it's not terribly different from the same elements that make up the stars and the planets and celestial objects. We all come from the same place, but if those can be construed as inanimate objects. The second that you start to think about consciousness is where everything collides.
Everything's alive. Everything.
And
Wow.
and that's the Tao, and it's like that's the force.
Right.
You know?
It's a life force.
Yeah.
I love
And it's
that.
so much larger than us, and it's palpable. Like I mean, just you can feel it around you. Doesn't it all sort of feel connected?
It does.
Like the wind that goes through those palm trees right there.
It
Doesn't
does.
that don't those feel like together
It does.
on the backdrop of the sky?
Right.
And then the sound, how it becomes audible and visible.
Right.
I mean, it all starts to become oneness if you really start to look
Right.
at it from like a macro perspective.
And it all works together like the most ingenious, well-oiled machine. Like
Yeah.
the fact that those plants grow the food that we need to maintain ourselves, right? It just it blows my mind every day. So I think we have a very similar belief that everything is one and interconnected. So I like to say that I call them divine downloads, right? So a lot of times when I'm alone, or if I'm walking, or if I'm showering, or if I'm just spending time alone doing something to Gibaji,
Pause. Commercial break.
so anytime that I have time alone to really get back to that oneness, I get ideas that I know come from something that's higher than me. And I used to believe like, oh, this was my idea, I did that. But then I started to realize, maybe we're all just playing a role and all being vessels for these ideas to flow through. And maybe I have the gift of teaching in a certain niche or field, and then Ruben is getting the divine download saying, hey, let me add something that would help DJ's teaching become easier. And then maybe Mark Zuckerberg's getting an idea that's saying, let me build a platform that connects everybody.
Right.
And then so we're all playing a role through this divine source that everyone's role that everyone's role is extremely important in, all trying to express itself through us as life.
I think that how important is listening. There's this old thing that people talk about, songwriters talk about, and I think it was Oasis that said this. I'm trying to think of if this was Liam. from Oasis who said this, or I think this is Noel from Oasis. He said something really interesting. He said, songs are floating out in the air.
Yeah.
Who is out there listening for the art, listening for the story, listening for the song that's going to go and be the proverbial fisherman that grabs the song and goes make it. If I don't hear it, it passes through the river and then Bono
Someone else
listens
gets
to
it.
Or Dave Navarro from Foo Fighters, or Chris Martin from Coldplay. Who is out there listening to find the songs that already exist, and I think this in the world, in the cosmos. And I think the same thing applies for entrepreneurship, for personal branding, for ways to save humanity. The ideas are out there. Are we listening? Are we putting ourselves in that frequency? Are we going out with listening, not talking, so that we hear, frankly, the answers blowing in the wind.
100%. I think my last content piece, I was just talking about that when I was younger, I heard Michael Jackson say in a documentary that he got a download for a song in a dream. He woke up and heard him grab his notebook and wrote the song down. And he said that he knew that we were all interconnected to a higher unified field of consciousness. And if he didn't take the idea and create it, then that idea would go to someone else and it would be created.
Prince.
Right? And I talk about how, like, have you ever had an idea and you didn't act on it and you see that same idea being marketed to you?
Yeah.
It's just like, like I could have been,
right.
And then you end up the customer buying the idea that you had that you were too scared to act on, and you thought, what would someone think of me?
And anytime you're making s'mores or at a barbecue, you're like, I came up with that idea.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, that was mine, and you just like it. So now, like, I try to catch them. I always say ideas,
and everyone's like, yeah, sure, that idea.
Yeah, okay, dude. Yeah, I know. And then it's like, I always say ideas are like slippery fish. You gotta catch them really quick and write them down and implement them. But I 100% agree. I think we're all interconnected to a unified field of thought, and I think that once you understand that, that could be life-changing. If the world understood that, I don't think there would be racism. I don't think that there would be any kind of ideas of me being better than you. We would understand that we're one, offering different things from our uniqueness. And I think that it's beautiful that we're all unique, because if we weren't, the world will all be the same, right? Imagine whoever's getting the idea to create this lovely home that you have, the architect or whatever. What if we all thought like the architect? All we would be doing is building homes. There'd be no music. There'd be no, there'd be no stages someone else built. There'd be no phone. There'd be no chairs. We all had to have different thoughts in our head, and I think that that's where the divisive consciousness enters some people's mind. They think because we're different, we're not the same. And I would like to say that we are the same, expressing unique differences that make the world work together.
Well, it's like dogs. I'm watching this documentary on dogs with Gia, who loves dogs. Gia, what's the name of that documentary on dogs? In the Mind of a Dog? The Mind of a Dog? What I love about that is that, don't they say that 99% of dogs are all the same? Yeah. Like, dogs are all the same. Like, their DNA is 99.9% the same, but they look so drastically different. If an alien were to come down and look at different dogs, they would think that these are different types of species. Like, if you look at a sheepdog versus a chihuahua, you're like, these are two. One of them looks like a rodent. One of them looks like a horse.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And yet they are the same mostly.
They growl. They bark.
Yeah. And humans, we look the same mostly. Height, hair, skin color, body type. There's facial
eyes,
features,
nose, mouth.
We look pretty much the same. Like, people could tell that that's a human and that's a human. Gender's different, size is different, color is different, but we spend so much of our time in humanity saying that we are so different.
Right.
And that just seems like a colossal waste of time to me.
Such a waste of time. And the more you study each culture to me is just group paradigm, group thought, how we eat, what we all believe
Yeah.
collectively. That's all culture is to me. You can create your own culture, and people who are in a similar paradigm to you will resonate with you. You guys will have your own culture. We're essentially in our culture where we believe in entrepreneurship, adding value. I think we both eat plant-based. This is a culture that we're living in, right?
Yeah.
But each culture, we're all doing the same thing with our own style. We all eat from the same food pyramid. We just put it together, and someone calls it a pupusa, someone else calls it a quesadilla, someone else calls it this, and they say, "This is my country's way of doing this.
Right.
Yours is what mine's better." But we're all
Right.
eating the same things. We all have to provide. We're all men trying to provide for our families.
Yeah.
You know, the women are all trying to take care of their babies.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, whether you're a billionaire or you're the most poorest person in the world, which I think we're all rich in potential and consciousness. Some of us are just a little bit short of money for lack of using that
Yeah.
ability. But we all like the same things: nature, simplicity, peace of mind, love. So you'll see people that are very young enjoying nature, and then you'll see people who've lived a great life. You know, they'll be 90 something sitting on the park bench with their loved ones enjoying nature.
Right. Well, I mean, I like what you told me that your grandfather said, which is that you get to choose to be free.
Mentally, spiritually, you do.
Yeah, and that means you get to choose if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to own your life and your time,
Right.
not have a boss. You get to choose your religion. You get to choose what you do with your time,
Right.
how you identify, who you are.
Right. No, 100%. And it's really cool to see people with similar beliefs, because I ask people a lot of the time, not for judgment purposes, but just to see if I travel to a new place, I ask, what's the main religion here? You know, because I want to know how they're thinking, what the paradigm here is. And I don't know if in the Indian community, is it Hinduism that's mostly taught? But it's just super cool to see someone that has a completely different way of free thought. Like, I don't think you identify with any religion, do you?
You know what, man? Religions are so divisive. It's hard for me to do that. You know, just because I love everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I love all
Right.
religions. I love all people. You know, the idea of going on a quest to connect with God is universally beautiful.
Right.
So it's to me, it seems like if you are really going to have a connection with God, you have to have a connection with all other people seeking a connection with God.
Right.
So for me, I don't like to separate it.
So I believe that deep within us, the divine source has put a role or mission and purpose. I think you and I both like the term ikigai.
Yeah.
Something you love to do, something
Something that you love to do, something you get paid for doing, something that you have high skill at, and something that you're passionate about.
it makes great impact on people.
Yeah.
Yes, and tie that together, and that's your life mission or purpose.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate. I'm grateful I got to communicate with you and pick your brain, and you got to share some of your wisdom with my target audience. And I want to say thank you for creating Dubb.
Yeah.
You and your partner. I think what you guys are doing is absolutely amazing. It's inspiring. It's well respected, and you're making my job for people like me, coaches and consultants, trying to make some positive impact out here even better. So the sleepless nights and the learning something new every day and adding to your system and making it more efficient for us, we really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that. I mean, and I would thank you that without mentorship, without coaching, without consulting, without receiving direction, the amount of time and money that can be wasted, whether it's on advertising or on social or on business strategy or on personal branding, it's not worth the time.
Right.
If we value ourselves, we have to invest in ourselves.
Right.
And that means we have to invest in a coach, in a consultant, in an expert, so that we don't need to go and waste time and money and lives that are lost, relationships that are destroyed, when we could have taken the short path, the direct path.
Well, I believe that in life in general, at some point, everyone becomes a coach or consultant. Even if you're just a father or a parent, you're coaching, mentoring, and consulting your children. And we all learn something through life. And I think at some point in your life, you should know that it's not just for you, it's for you to give back to the world and teach and uplift the next generation or the next person that's trying to learn whatever you've mastered.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
All
Good
right.
times.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.